probably the one most likely to get some kind of divine intervention.
Yeah.
Because Liam's a rogue who does who knows what, and Flick is a godless heathen.
All right. Um. Well, hold on one second because it's being funky here.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could be funky.
All right. We're gonna start off with a recap of last time. So last time on Princess of Apocalypse, the party, after having recently staged an assault on Riverguard Keep, stood at the main gate surrounded by bodies of the guards they had killed, just surrounded. There was an alarm bell ringing in the distance. Kendra did express her desire to leave the keep to allow time for the party to regroup and rest, but the party had voted to go ahead and press on. They start to investigate the surrounding buildings, looking for Corbett, the traveling bard, as they continue to follow a lead that he might have been left, or he might have left Red Larch with guards bearing the chosen symbol of Riverguard Keep. However, as they search, they find only barred doors, several frightened individuals that seemingly didn't make it to safety, and a few that were so scared that they attacked without thought. The party barge into the cathedral and battle a priestess and her two guards quickly, stopping the alarm bell that was still ringing above. Then the party, in frustration, split up to search the keep. Rowan to the locked northwest tower, and Flick and Kendra to the locked southeast tower, and Liam at the collapsed stables, where he convinces a young man to abandon the keep and seek refuge at Red Larch. The party suddenly find themselves under attack from powerful individuals that transform into water serpents. At opposite ends of the keep, Rowan and Liam fight one water serpent while Kendra and Flick battle the other. Um, Liam is the first to fall, but Rowan keeps the water serpent's attention on herself, which allows Liam enough time to recover to a stable state, but does remain unconscious. Flick and Kendra, however, find themselves overwhelmed by the serpent and its guards, and over the course of the battle, Kendra falls and Flick is unable to revive her. The remaining two party members regroup with their fallen as Rowan, with wings spread wide and with a soaking Liam in her arms, attempts to intimidate some sailors within a large keel boat along the eastern river wall. Exhausted and panicked, Rowan watches as three sailors emerge from the keelboat cabin, smiling darkly. A humored voice from within the cabin seems unfazed as the unseen captain welcomes the expected party to the ship. And let me go ahead and throw you guys back onto the map at least so you can see what is happening.
Choose the face of your destroyer.
All right. So, to set the scene just real quick, Flick, you are crouched next to Kendra's unmoving body, looking across the where the river comes in, backflows in, at Rowan, who has just laid Liam's limp form atop the stone at her feet and is threatening the sailors aboard the keelboat.
Well, we're not leaving Kendra here, so look, we'll tend to her body and ease her into the bag of holding so we can at least get her out of here. She's not the strongest character on her own, but the bag of holding makes things significantly easier.
So you're stuffing her into the bag of holding.
Yes,
Okay.
carefully.
All right. So you carefully maneuver her body into the bag of holding, um, knowing at this time she is not breathing. And Rowan, you are standing atop the wall with Liam at your feet. There are 2 men that have stepped out, flanked by a third, which is a halfling man, but he looks heavily armored. And there is that 4th voice within the keelboat walls, the cabin, that sounds very confident and humored. And you hear steps as they are walking out towards you.
So after hearing like the confidence in his voice, and I believe if I remember correctly, he basically said like, "I'm going to enjoy this," or "Looking forward to this." I'm going to. Can I physically the one that's like was told to come attack me? I can see him, right?
It was actually the halfling that said he was going to enjoy it.
Okay.
The one
So
within the cabin you hear starting to come out, and as you hear those steps coming, the halfling pulls his long pike out, and the other 2 men pull out their crossbows. And
I'm gonna look at him and say, while I pride you on your cockiness, I don't have time for this bullshit. And I'm gonna just reach down and pick up Liam and immediately attempt to fly back to Flick.
okay. As you attempt to fly off, you feel the wings dissipate. The spell is technically only good for a minute, and we've actually probably gone beyond that at this point. So you are standing on the wall. You go with Liam in your arms, and you feel the wings leave your back, and the muscle memory of flying. Suddenly, you feel panic grip you as you watch first some boots come out of the cabin, followed by legs, and a portly man comes out. And he looks up at you, just the head peering out. Ah, there you are. Was wondering if I'd get to see you face to face. As this head comes out, Rowan, you suddenly see the halfling behind, as an arrow lodges into his neck. And he cries out.
There's the battle music shift.
The captain turns his head and looks back. Flick, you also look behind you. And what you see behind you, 3, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Looking back, you see I actually have a picture drawn up because I stayed up late last night drawing it.
Behind up here or on the wall?
Yep.
Boop, boop. You see a rather lithe man with spotted dark yellow hair, wielding a bow. It's just waving you to come forward. Come on.
Yep. So he waves at you, Flick. Rowan, you see this arrow lodge into the halfling's neck. There is a moment of startlement between the captain, the halfling, and his 2 other sailors as they look across the way. What are you going to do?
Right, let's add to the chaos. I'm going to try to set the boat on fire.
The one that they're on?
Yes,
Okay.
because pitch burns quite nicely. So, at this point, everything is clearly in a moment of chaos. Flick is, no can see Rowan, but the wings are no. Yeah. Flick can see Rowan, but not the wings, and more people are coming out of the boat. So, with Kendra safely tucked away, Flick brings up her gear and lets loose. Does a 24 hit the boat?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you get?
Helping.
Well, it's a 7 fire damage if you need a damage count. Just trying to slather the side of the ship in basically explosive flaming fluid.
Okay. And is this something you lobbed?
It's a potion vial fired from our alchemy cannon thing.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, Rowan, you would see this stranger on the wall with bow still raised, motioning towards your friends on the ground next to the tower. And then you see Flick turn back towards you, brings up his alchemy cannon, and you see a streak of light which just comes across the way and suddenly lands within the ship, and almost like lit gasoline just flames across the front of the keelboat. The one sailor cries out and backs away. The captain and the halfling both just look a little startled, but then the captain grins as he turns his eyes back to you.
And I'm just gonna grab Liam like I was planning,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm immediately gonna just run and dive off the side into the water.
The side into the river or into the
Like on
the side of the keelboat
like
on that side?
over here, so I can do a direct line, basically beeline
Okay.
towards Flick if I can do the right, because I'm basically going like this direction.
Okay. All right. So you jump with Liam in your arms into the water, and go ahead and make a strength check because you have hit this water at nighttime. It's cold and freezing. It's still springtime, and you're trying to keep hold of him. What was that?
8.
8? Okay. So
No cold water shock to wake Liam up?
Liam, as soon as you hit the water, you feel the tug. There seems to be another flow coming, even on this side of the wall from the north, and it seems to be dragging both of you away. Liam slips from your grasp, and you go to try and grip at him as both of you start to flow towards the opening. That'll bring us back to 3 and Flick. 3, you're first.
Okay. So seeing the chaos and that they're actually taking my advice, going to knock another arrow and fire at the bigger guy. Just keep providing cover fire.
Yep.
Alright, first roll. Ooh, that's a good number. Let's see what's my bonus. 14 plus 6, 20.
That definitely hits.
Awesome. And it's a longbow. So that's 6. That's 8 damage.
Okay. And that was at the captain?
Yes.
Okay.
And then
The chunky guy.
Yeah.
Let me actually bring him out. Okay. So the captain, you said 8 damage?
Yep.
All right. The captain feels the arrow pierce him, and at first he seems quite shocked by it, but then you just see him break it off, and he just tosses it aside as if it were a splinter.
Oh,
And
you thought we were done?
You got more?
Yeah. Whenever I take an attack action, I can make an additional weapon attack.
Go for it.
That's a 22.
22 hits.
And that is 7 more damage.
All right. So another arrow hits him, this time almost immediately beneath where the other one is. And he grits his teeth a bit, but it just turns into a smile. This time he leaves that one where it is, and he just flexes his arm, and it falls out.
Is
Keep
Flick
them
close enough
coming.
to hear me?
Oh, yes.
Flick is close enough to hear me?
Yep.
That was meant to indicate we're fucked.
Well, it's not him I'm shooting at. And Flick readies her cannon once more. Chunk. As another firebolt is readied at the ship, further along it this time, spreading as much fire as possible. 23 to hit the
Okay,
ship.
that hits.
I can't imagine I need a high roll to hit the broadside of a barn. It's a 6 fire if you need it.
All right.
It's a pretty dexterous barn.
So this time,
Well,
the how far can the cannon shoot?
Firebolt. It's 120 feet.
Okay, this time it
There's
hits.
not much outside my range here.
It hits the top of the boat, and it goes across the captain's quarters over it onto the back. Just this stream of flames that goes over and is licking at the wood. The guard in the back does scream out as he is just wreathed in flames, and he jumps over into the water to try and put it out.
Nice shot.
Rowan, go ahead and... Oh, did you have one more thing, Flick?
I wanted to move closer to the water just to be in a position to help them if they can.
Okay. Rowan, go ahead and make... Are you trying to grab at Liam again?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and make this time
Oh, sorry,
acrobatics this time.
Okay. $15.
Okay, so you're able to grab at him, and you're able to wrap yourselves around him. You are dragged outside of the chain. Actually, hold on.
Oh, that's helpful.
Okay, so yep, you are dragged into the actual river, which does flow from north to south. So you suddenly find yourselves being quickly dragged down the river. And I'm going to say you guys probably got dragged about this. We'll say to there for now.
Well, that's outside.
That's what I was gonna say. Fine by me.
Can't see him, so...
So at this point, Flick, you watch as you see the captain, who you don't know who he is, but he suddenly peeks his head back out with a smirk, and he comes out. You see him doing something with hand movements. It's nighttime, but they do have like a lantern hanging off the cabin keelboat, so you can kind of see his hands moving. And you see all of a sudden, huh?
Can he effectively see me?
Uh,
I'm about 50 feet away from him.
he could
Does he have
see
dark vision?
where the original flame began from, where the burst came from. That's about it.
So back behind me a ways.
Yeah.
Because I moved afterwards.
And you see all of a sudden a wave of water suddenly rise up from the river just in front of the keelboat. It is about 10 feet wide, enough to span it, and it is about 30 feet long, 10 feet tall. It is effectively covering the entire boat from any further cannon or arrow fire. And you just hear laughter from behind it. That brings us back to 3.
I'll get the fuck out of there.
Okay.
We'll get all the way back up, and go past his body, come up here, and ready in action for when that wall falls. If they are not out of there by the time the wall falls, another arrow is going towards that bitch.
Okay.
Oh. I guess it's time to leave.
All right. So, Flick, you're up.
This door is still open. It never got closed.
Correct.
So, gonna move to the base of the stairs.
Mhm.
Would I be able to see the capstan from here?
Yes. Well, it is inside, yeah.
If I didn't go up the stairs, if I went, say, here, would I be able to get a clear shot at it through the door?
Yes.
I'm setting the capstan on fire, so it can't be used to lower the chain.
Okay.
24 to hit. I'm getting all my good attack rolls.
Oh,
on
yeah.
The enemy.
Yeah, no, that absolutely hits.
6 fire if you need it.
Okay. So 3, you watch and hear as another boom, and you see a flash of light from where near the base of the steps, and you see the string of flame just go into the tower, and a flash of light comes from in there, and flickering light proceeds soon after. The chain does not seem to be moving at the moment. Anything else?
Just wanted to set the wooden parts of the capstan on fire.
All right.
Using my movement plus feline additional movement, going up here to where the rope was, the
Okay.
remains of the rope that I tried to pull Kendra up, and I'm going to use it to scale down the outside of the wall.
Okay.
The remaining, probably, if we want to say it's cut in half, there'd be about 25 feet of rope left
Okay.
from the war.
All right. Kendra, you guys are getting not floated. You are getting tumulted down the river with Liam. Like, you are just wrapped around him. Go ahead and make a.
How is Kendra feeling that from the bag of holding?
I'm sorry. Oh, fuck.
Yes!
Seriously. Seriously.
I think.
Oh, let me get the counters back up.
Rowan. Go ahead and make an athletics check for me.
Alright, athletics. Okay.
So we raised a wall of water around the boat, but still hasn't put the fires out.
Nope.
Natural 1.
Okay.
Goodbye.
So you are unable to keep hold of Liam. Go ahead and roll a d4.
2.
2. Okay. So the reason you're unable to keep hold of him, a large branch has just rammed into your side, and the sticks have stuck into your face. You do take 2 bludgeoning damage, and Liam is suddenly out of your grasp.
Cool, cool.
Liam, I'm awake. Why does everything hurt? Why am I cold and wet?
I mean,
Alright.
he's technically still unconscious, right?
Correct.
When he wakes up, I'm sure he's not going to be having a
Okay.
good day.
All right. 3.
Ooh, that.
You have just backed up towards the stairwell, you've seen this wall of water come up in front of the boat, and you see the other, the cat-like figure starting to scale down a rope. What are you doing?
Cool. How much light is there?
There is moonlight.
So would it be safe to say that it's like pretty dark? You would need dark vision to see.
Yes.
Cool. To everyone that has dark vision, I'm invisible. And I get the fuck out of there.
All right. Are you jumping off the wall? Are you
Yes, I would
scaling?
like to jump. I would like to jump off and roll to break my landing.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and make an acrobatics check for me.
Of course. 17.
Okay. So you are able to leap off the wall and are able to roll right into the dirt. And I think that part of it was only, yeah. Flick, what are you doing?
Down the rest of the rope, and we're getting out of here.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow the cat.
All right. So,
Awesome.
Flick, as you start running down, you start scanning the coastline and you hear a sound behind you, and you see this other form run up, which you recognize as the individual that was on the wall, firing arrows at the ship. Neither of you can see your two friends in the water, but you do see a shadow in the distance. Something where the moonlight is just silhouetting it. Rowan, go ahead and what are you doing? Let me ask you that.
How much space is between me and Liam?
You can't see him right now. Do you have dark vision?
No.
Okay. It is nighttime. You are underwater.
Oh, yeah, I do. I do.
You do? Okay. You are able to see a form about 10 feet before you, just being rolled through the water. And there should be concern in your mind that you guys have been underwater now for a little bit, especially with an unconscious person that doesn't know to hold their breath.
I'm going to basically focus on like controlling my angle and swimming straight at him. And if I'm near any like rock or branch or anything, I'm gonna try and use it as like a launching point, like using my foot to kick off of it and get
Okay.
towards him.
Yeah. Make another acrobatics check for me.
This dice is going away. 6.
All right. So you do your best. This river is deep, wide, and tumultuous. You're trying to push off of it, but you feel yourself actually being dragged by branches and such. And it just seems to be pulling you further away from Liam. Fortunately, as you finally realize you need breath and you come up to the surface, you see a shadow about now 15 feet in front of you, and you see it dragging a form into the boat. And you hear a voice calling out to you. And it says, "Here, down this way." You can't, it's difficult to see with the way the moonlight is, but you can see a form being pulled into the boat.
How close are they to the shore?
They are probably about 30 feet out.
So getting to the shore, would I be able to see Rowan's shining armor?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. You would see the moonlight reflecting off of it.
I'm gonna get just close enough in the water for them to be within 30 feet and give Rowan a shove towards the boat.
Wait, say that again?
Telekinetic abilities.
Oh!
I'm helping
Like,
Rowan
wait,
towards
how are
the
you
boat.
getting in the water
I
and
know.
shoving me that quickly?
I've only been using this like every session.
That's true.
Okay, so Rowan, as
You
you
have to
are
fail the ability check.
just exhausted and you feel about at wit's end, your muscles are screaming at you. You feel a shove, and this is not like the branches or debris within the water pushing at you. This feels more kinetic and like air shoving at you, and you feel yourself pushed through the water with ease towards the boat um, and right up to it. Do you want to grab the hand that's reaching down for you?
Yes.
All right. So you reach up for the hand, um, and as you are dragged into the boat, um, you don't see a face so much as you spend that time coughing up water and such, and you just are searching and feeling for Liam, and you find his form there. Um, Flick from the shore. Um, you're uncertain what has actually happened at this point. You know you put the spell out there. You saw another shadowy form be pulled into the boat, and then the form slowly come towards the shore. Uh, and as you hear the grating of the boat hitting the shoreline. What are you guys going to do?
Don't stop here. Away from the keep. Further south.
Uh, you see a form inside the boat nod at you and wave. Come on, come on.
Like is hesitant, still out in the water, but will trudge out and get up on the boat.
Okay.
Turn back to the stranger that had been apparently also assaulting the keep for some reason. And just kind of watch them for now.
Going to approach,
Now
sliding
there's
down.
moonlight and glowing cat eyes.
Yeah. Gonna slide down that.
You made us make a check for sliding down that.
Yep,
And Rowan fell at her face.
I'm waiting for it.
All right.
Rowan did that a lot when we had full.
I'm waiting for it. Fair's fair.
All right. So you guys are able to hold on.
What do you want me to roll to slide down that? Because I want to see if I just immediately fail and look like a dumbass in front of them.
What are you sliding down?
I'm sliding down this embankment right here that Roman fell down.
Oh yeah, of course. Go ahead and slide down that.
Oh, what am I rolling?
That would be athletics. Acrobatics. Sorry.
Acrobatics?
Sorry.
Okay, cool. So 8 plus 6 is 14.
All right. So you are able to slide down it. You do feel some slight scraping along the skin, but you were able to get down there and run across the way.
Yeah. Just gonna make my way across if we're out of initiative order.
Okay.
I am now probably not invisible. I don't know. It depends on how this feature works.
All right.
I can't see anything to the right of where Flick's token is. She's just on
Yeah,
the road.
that's just pure darkness for me too.
Okay.
Same.
All right. So, yeah, I'm going to actually take you guys off the map. So, at this point, you guys get drawn into, you leap into the boat. Flick, you see Rowan coughing and gagging, muscles and arms just shaking. The other individual who seemed to be helping leaps into the boat and takes a seat near the back to observe. The individual guiding the boat looks back at you all and Rowan, roll me a history.
He's coming from Yartar. Would I have any recognition?
That'll
like
be a
that.
4.
Okay. You guys have no idea who this individual is. He seems to keep seems really concerned as he eyes those in the party, seeing the one still unconscious, and then pushes off and leaps back into the boat and starts to paddle southward. Is everyone all right?
No, but thank you kindly.
Where's Liam? Where's Liam?
Liam
I'm
is.
like looking around.
Yep. Liam's on the floor of the boat. His upper body's kind of leaned up against the curved part. This is not a large boat. This is a fairly small one, but enough to fit all of you.
Does it look like it's transporting or fishing?
Possibly a small transport.
I'm immediately just crawling over to Liam because I have like 0 strength left. I'm about tapped out and done, but I keep going towards Liam and I want to check his pulse and everything.
Okay. So you feel a pulse. It seems thready. You hear his breathing is fairly labored and wet. But he is at least breathing.
I'm going to like breathe a sigh of relief and lay my head down on his chest and basically be like, I'm so sorry. And basically just be so relieved that he's still here, but angry at myself for how everything has played out.
All right. The individual guiding the boat sets down the paddle and heads towards the back to grab the rudder. Thank you. The rudder, and allows the natural flow of the river to start to take the boat southward, further away from the keep. And he doesn't say anything. He just wide eyes on the group of you as he leads it towards the middle.
Look, well, just kind of take a moment to pause, looking to Rowan and Liam and to the stranger that had approach them in the keep for a moment and then back to the boatswain and just nod her head. Thank you, sir, for your assistance. We've been dealing with some trouble and it got the best of us. I hope you don't mind if we wait for now to discuss fare.
He looks at you strangely for a moment before a small panicked chuckle comes out. I'm just repaying kindness for kindness. And you see him pull a scimitar from a belt on his waist and sets it down on one of the benches that goes horizontal. And just you would recognize this came from the armory of the keep that you guys had been through. Is he going to be okay? He nods towards Liam.
Flick will look to Liam and Rowan, and he's probably a little bit better trained in actual medicine, so let's just kind of give him a check over, see if we can get the water out of his lungs.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a medicine check.
Can I do that as well?
Yeah, you want to
18.
help him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Help
18.
him? Just give him advantage, or can I roll myself?
Whichever you want to do.
Well, I'm good at medicine too, thank you very much. So I'm rolling. Gotta get these rolls to turn around on me. 15.
All right.
18.
Okay. So between the two of you, Flick, you come up and you position Liam in such a way onto the side. And Rowan, you come up and you just pound on his back. And suddenly you hear a sputtering as water comes vomiting out of Liam's mouth. Liam, we'll say you are able to come to consciousness with 1 hit point. And you are quite confused as you find yourself on a boat, surrounded by 2 of your party members who have just beaten you. And you're feeling quite sore.
Did I drink?
Most of the river.
Oh, good. I'm hydrated. What's going on? What happened?
Nothing good, I'm afraid.
I'm so sorry, Liam. I failed you.
Am I still alive?
Yes.
Oh, then you didn't fail me. Where? Last thing I remember was a giant snake. What happened?
There'll be time for that for later. But for now, I'm gonna turn to Flick. Where's Kendra?
I have her secured. I think this would be a bad place to bring her out for now.
And I'm gonna look down and realize that he's talking about his bag of holding.
I'm just going to point out, I'm kind of amused everyone forgets Kendra's female. Or, not Kendra. No, you got me doing it. Flick is female, but Also a strange cat
Oh,
creature.
sorry. God damn it.
She probably doesn't care herself, so.
Well, you know, even real cats sometimes are hard to tell, right?
She's wearing chainmail and leather, and everything about her smells like burnt hair. And now wet.
Ugh, I gotta remember that, though. Ugh. I'm distraught right now, okay?
You hear a voice from the back of the boat. The young man at the rudder. I suggest we continue heading downriver, at least until we get to Womford. I should be able to get you there safely. Um, forgive me, but and he kind of leans in closer to Rowan. I don't recognize this other one. Were there more of you? And he kind of looks back at the blonde one, sitting apart from the rest of you.
No, he showed up out of nowhere. I don't even know who he is and what's his business, but he helped us escape, and right now that's good enough for me.
Repaying kindness, I believe you said.
You see the comment sink in, and he nods and leans back and wraps his arm around the rudder. If you all need some sleep, I'll carry the boat down.
That would be appreciative. Let's see who our other friend here is first. Travelers do make interesting bedfellows after all.
And he nods a bit before he reaches forward with his other arm and picks up the scimitar and puts it back into his belt line.
You there, Archer. Come say something.
We will get up and approach, being at the very least, very least 10 feet away. Hello.
A curious night for other folks to be hostile in that place. What brings you out this way?
Quite a lot. However, as of late, some entertainment, you could say. That entertainment quickly soured, so I saw it necessary to step in. I've been watching you for a while. My apologies.
There's something you were hoping to see watching us.
In all honesty, you. I was very curious as to why there's a tabaxi out this far.
Where else would I be?
I'm not sure. My father would tell me stories of tabaxi, and just wanted to see one for myself.
Simply looks back for a moment. She's very good at having an unreadable face, being the furthest from human of the party. But she gives a nod after a moment. If you know of Tabaxi, perhaps you've heard of our gift and curse. Many of us travel simply because it's what we're driven to do. And that's why I am here.
In that we are alike. I apologize for not saying anything sooner. I know the sting of losing a comrade. Thought it best to give space. and I apologize for not being swift enough. If the arrow had landed sooner, then perhaps something could have been avoided.
There were many choices that could have avoided this fate. Unfortunately, we did not take them.
Oh, I apologize, I'm being rude. My name is 3.
Well, would it be better circumstances, it would be a pleasure to meet you. For now, I am thankful, 3. But my name is Flickering Mountain, if you had not surmised. Or simply Flick.
Well met, Flickering Mountain. I apologize, I'm not very... How would my sister put it? I am very socially inept, as she would say.
So now we have to find Three's sister and Kendra's sister.
Oh no, my sister is not lost. No, she is very well.
At any rate, it has been a very difficult day. We'd like to take up this young man's opportunity to rest.
Of course.
Is the boat just like open topped? Is there an interior? How big are we looking at?
It's open topped. There's no interior. There's about 4 bench seats going backwards. It's a fairly small boat. Almost looks like a ferry boat. But it seems to be holding within the river. Enough that you could each comfortably lay horizontally if you wanted to take a rest.
I don't think this would be a great time to take a long rest, but a short rest would be helpful.
I'll keep the boat straight. My father taught me to what to look for. I know this river like the back of my hand. Sorry if I seemed cowardly earlier.
Completely understandable.
No one's attacked the keep before, and I've never had to make decisions for myself. But he looks over, the young man looks over to Liam and gives a small nod. Today I found courage to make that first step. So consider yourselves under my protection for the night, and I'll wake you if anything happens.
You never
Otherwise,
gave me your name before. May I have it now?
Eldon.
Eldon?
Yes. Son of Dryden. Although I guess it doesn't really matter now. Dad passed away. Anyways, this was my dad's boat years ago. I'll keep her straight.
Thank you, Elder.
Thank you for opening my eyes to, beyond fear.
There is no shame in fear. Like any other feeling or emotion, it is how you respond to it that defines who you are.
I'm gonna walk over to Odin and reach out to shake his hand.
He looks up at you, fully armored, and reaches a hand up, and you're able to encompass it with yours. He's a small man, young man, and
All is Rowett.
I'm 5'8".
Oh yeah, I'm 5'4".
Okay.
Maybe I should have made Flick taller.
And when he takes my hand, I'm gonna put my other hand on his shoulder real quick. And I'm gonna say, "May Heronius guide you tonight." And I'm gonna basically, as a thematic thing, I'm casting guidance on him, which would basically give him advantage on ability checks.
That's good to know. Okay. All right.
Or I'm sorry, we'll allow him to add a D4 roll to
D4.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He seems very somewhat intimidated, but more so as a sense of this is all very new to him. He is like you get a sense he's never stepped out of place before. But he seems very comfortable in this boat. And Liam, he looks over to you for a moment with a small little smirk and gives a nod.
How's your legs?
He looks down at him. Well, they're kind of covered in shit from the stable, but my sea legs, they're good. Or I guess river legs. Yeah, river. Shit. Sorry. You okay?
What was going on there?
What's that?
What was happening there?
Where? Back at the keep?
Yeah.
I mean, last I remember, you told me to head to Red Larch. Gave me the sword. He holds up the scimitar for a bit. Told me to head out that way, but apologies. I guess you kind of stick with what you know, and I guess you could say I'm a river rat.
There's no need to apologize. What I mean is, what were you doing there in the first place? What were any of you doing there? We're past checking up if we're fine. I'm clearly alive.
I mean, my dad brought us here. Mom, we're not a well-off family. We did a lot of ferrying back and forth across the river. Even did some transporting for merchants and such, but all of a sudden it got, business got really thin. I don't know the logistics of it. What I do know is Mom got sick. She didn't make it, but Dad brought us to the keep, and they welcomed us, offered us, shelter and protection, and in return, we helped keep the boats up. We did some ferrying. Uh, uh, Dad didn't make it though. He old age, I guess. But I guess I was kind of lost after that. I didn't know what to do. I found myself hiding in the fucking stables for. Either way, I'll get you there safe. There's one thing my dad taught me. It was river. I'm not knee deep in the shit anymore. I think I finally, for the first time, see things clearly. Thank you. He settles onto the rudder and what are you guys gonna do?
Observe.
At this point, fallen silent. Just matter of people quota for the day.
Mhm.
So moving towards the front of the boat, kind of apart from everyone. Also apart from Three, who's apart from everyone as best they can on the small boat. The tools come out, and Flick falls into habit. Just silence, working with tools.
So Rowan, you watch as Flick just moves her way to the front of the boat, and out of habit just brings out tools and starts tinkering with things sluggishly, and you see a disturbed determinance in the eyes as she works. What are you doing?
I'm going to basically start taking my armor off to get a little bit of the weight off of me, figurative and literally. So as I'm gonna take that off and look over to Liam. How are you feeling?
Wet and tired. Where's Talon? Did you do I still have Talon? Did you pick up Talon? Is Talon still in my hand?
As you reach back, you realize Talon is still with you and in its rightful place.
Liam's just gonna lay his head back and close his eyes.
And as I see him basically kind of seeming to relax a little, knowing that his fateful talon's with him, do a little bit of a chuckle under my breath and get the armor off and turn around and lean against the boat next to Liam. Do a brief look down. Just look at Three. Just seeing what he's doing. And then I'll lean back and allow myself to rest.
What are you doing, Three?
Observing all of them, and once they've all settled into some form of activity,
He's writing a story.
once they've all settled into some form of activity, whether it be their craft or just rest, it's when I follow suit. Just with the short rest, not completely putting my guard down, but I sense no danger from these people. Resting as well as I can.
Okay. Is anyone planning to actually sleep?
At this time, Flick is not sleeping.
Okay. Liam or Rowan?
I'm gonna roll 9.
Okay.
Liam probably just passes back out.
I am, yeah, basically my idea is I'm leaning back and allowing myself, I'm saying to myself, I just want to be a little bit comfortable, but based on everything I've been through and how exhausted I am. Let's see.
So dumb question.
Uh-huh.
How long was I knocked out for, and does it count as a short or long rest?
It does not
Nothing
count.
about what happened was restful.
Yeah, it was not restful. Like your body was under survival mode I mean, you are exhausted.
Also,
How well
you
do
can't get the
sleep being
benefits of
pushed
a
down the
Yeah.
stairs?
you can't get the benefits of a long rest while you're wearing armor, so that's out of the question.
So I'm gonna say that I ended up falling asleep. I'm not considering it a long rest, but just that I'm so exhausted that it takes me.
Okay.
I'll say for however long I'm able to get sleep for.
Okay. Flick, what are you doing?
Working with tools and processing what we were discussing.
Okay.
Focusing on primarily her gauntlets first, as that tends to be where most of her tools are put into play. The alchemy gear is going from a standalone cannon, and she's building it more of a permanent fixture onto her arm, combined with gauntlet and sleeve and pauldron. Seems she's becoming attached to things.
The young man at the rudder at one point looks up and says, "It'll be at least 12 hours before we get to Womford. Just so you all are aware."
Oh, fuck that then. Yep,
Oh,
the
so
armor's
it is
coming
gonna
off.
be. So it is gonna be like long rest.
All
able.
night. It's an all-night travel.
Yep. Yep. Gonna just take the armor off then.
Well,
Gonna
then
sleep.
that regard.
Fuck it.
In that regard, that changes things. I'm gonna start looking at spells.
All right, so
So just to confirm, we're all going to sleep. Long rest.
Flick will sleep at some point, but not yet. There's still work to be done.
Flick is
I'm
the
gonna do the
last.
opposite. Yeah, I'm gonna like sleep and then wake up and refocus myself.
Just because I'm about to hit the long rest button, I want to be sure that's the right thing to do right now.
Yep. All right. First, so with that, Flick, go ahead and roll me a d20.
17.
Okay. And Liam, also roll me a d20.
$15.
Are those animated spell cards? Cool stuff.
Oh, you just run me of money.
Okay.
I wanted to get them. They're on my list of stuff to get. I'm broke right now.
All right. So
They are very nice.
Rowan, you find yourself the thoughts of the entire day just swirling through your mind. The events, the battles, the blood, the cries, the sound of weapons slicing at flesh, the sound of water escaping lungs, and it just pulls you under, and you are unable to stay awake despite wanting with every fiber of your being to be there for the rest of your party. You just find your eyes drawing to sleep. Flick, you actually 3, you find yourself falling asleep quite easily. With everything you have seen thus far, you don't quite have the attachment to feel like you need to stay awake or anything like that. You seem quite trustful of the individual with the boat, and you have no issue just falling asleep. Flick, you are working away and tinkering with your items. And as you are doing it, you hear a grunt coming from the middle of the boat. And you ignore it for the moment, but you hear shifting, and then you hear moaning. And as you look over, you realize Liam is in a sleep fit, as his head turns from side to side. And you see his lips moving as he once in a while will speak a word, but it's indiscernible. And you get the sense that there is some kind of dreaming, or based on the cold sweat, that a nightmare. And Liam, what you see...
Well, seeing this, Flick will remove her apron, folding it over, and just place it across Liam's chest. It's a thick, heavy leather and still quite warm.
Okay. Liam, as you're laying there, you fall asleep with very little effort whatsoever. Basically, you close your eyes and feel yourself instantly adrift. You feel a creeping coldness in this drifting, just rocking back and forth. It prickles across your skin, and it's like your drifting state starts to close in around you. And in the distance, familiar voices, screaming, crying out, and they grow louder surrounding you, crying out in pain, fire crackling and roaring all around you across your vision. Acrid, choking smoke seizing your lungs, coating your tongue, and you freeze as your body senses it before your mind does. Behind you, a presence. You know what it is, and you feel yourself sucked into a vacuum of dread, cold sweat breaking out across your skin. You turn, and there, watching you, glowing, purple black eyes. They move towards you and your eyes fly open and you sit straight up in the boat. And you realize there is a heavy apron across you. And you are covered in cold sweat, gasping for air, feeling still a slight catch in your lungs, a wetness as you gasp for air. Flick, you witness as Liam suddenly sits up a good 15 to 20 minutes after you've rested the apron on him. And there seems to be sweat across his brow as he gasps for air.
Breathe deeply, Liam. Here, take some of this. And she passes a flask towards him.
What is it?
Ale.
And Liam just downs it. I had a most terrible dream. It was of this woman I met along the road.
And what happened with the woman?
Let's just say it was a very, very bad date.
I see. I've met a woman on the road myself, and, well, it was a good day until our roads had to part. Rest, though, Liam. Yesterday was an ordeal, and I feel that you may need it far more than I at this time.
Wake me if anything happens. And Liam goes to lay back again, but he pulls Talon out and holds it to his chest under his cloak as he does.
All right. So, Flick, are you planning to sleep at all?
Yes.
Okay.
If you still let me go through with what we had.
Yes.
I
Yep.
wanted to.
Plenty of time.
Okay.
Plenty of
Flick
time.
will go to sleep after Liam is back out.
Okay. So you all can get a long rest. And Rowan, we'll say you're probably the first to awake. And you hear the water just kind of gently slapping against the side of a boat. And you feel a rocking as your eyes open and it is daylight. The sun's not quite full overhead, but it seems to be morning. And you hear a slight shuffle further to your left and realize that the stranger, not the one at the rudder, but the other stranger, the one that seemed to help 3, is already awake and seated and takes notice of your waking.
Morning.
Good morning. We didn't get a chance to talk last night.
I thought it best to just allow you rest. Sorry if that seemed rude.
No, no, not at all. I clearly was.
Then formalities. Good evening, or morning. My name is 3.
And I'm Rowan Stormraven. I believe I owe my life to you.
I wouldn't go that far. Flickering
You
Mountain
seem to
did more
shoot
work than
too.
I did.
Your arrows seem to shoot true, though.
In that moment, yes. I wish I could have done more. I do not enjoy seeing lives taken from this world.
That is something we agree on.
However, though it is a tragedy, we must all move past things such as this. Death is as natural as life.
I'm gonna kind of look down and basically be contemplating that.
At this point, Liam, you would be the next to wake up. You sit up and you just ache all over. You feel rested, but the toll of the previous day has definitely, you feel it in your muscles. Despite being dry at this point, you feel crusty and just wore out. And you hear Rowan and 3 speaking behind you.
Can I pretend to still be sleeping?
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna listen in on what they're talking about.
Mhm.
I'm gonna basically look back up at 3 and I have seen a lot of death and have caused a lot of death. But I don't quite want to be comfortable with it.
You can choose that. I don't like it. I wouldn't say I'm comfortable with it, but I understand that is the natural order. Some things just need to die, while others live in their place. However, what happened with your comrade did not need to happen. Like many things in this world, there's always an exception. From what I observed of all of you are exceptional.
Wouldn't go that far.
Not many people can have wings burst from their backs and fly towards their friend's aid.
So you saw that, huh?
Yes. And I saw it the first time. You all have given me quite a bit of entertainment.
Entertainment, huh?
Entertainment until as of late. I've been watching the trade routes, saw how you dispatched with the zombies, saw your fight in the clouds and mist. Couldn't make much out, but I could see some very interesting things happening. And then last night. I did not want to intervene, as this was your mission This was your duty. This was your intent. Who was I to intrude? But I couldn't stand by. Once I noticed, the girl with red hair did not get up.
Fortunately, I didn't get to be there. I had run off on my own, abandoned them.
I know a thing
All for
about
the
that.
sake of a door.
I know a thing or two about abandoning a comrade. What you did was not abandonment. You will know when abandonment is the action you chose. It sits with you, festers, much worse. What you've done, you went with a partner to go and search more, while the other two went. There's nothing to be ashamed of with that. You're splitting up and looking at more things. Stating your curiosity is to try to complete an objective. While I do not understand the objective and I don't know it, I can see that you are all willing to fight for whatever mission you had.
And for me, that mission isn't over.
No, I wouldn't suppose it is. You all seemed like you had much more to do. And
Since you
as a,
seem to be watching us for an extended period of time, you wouldn't have happened to see a bard being brought to that keep.
yeah,
No. You don't recall seeing that occur.
no, I have not seen such a thing occur. Am
I'm
I
just gonna
correct?
go ahead.
Am I correct in assuming that you were looking for said bard?
Indeed. It was someone that recently helped me kind of figure out more about my own heritage, I guess you can call it.
Heritage is not a easy thing to learn about. My people learn of it very quickly at a young age. But even then, it's not an easy thing to learn. So I'm happy you've learned something.
You hear a voice from the back kind of perk up. Uh, apologies. You mentioned a bard?
Yes, yes.
I know you mentioned that back previously, but there was no. I mean, the keep was full of mercenaries and stuff, but you know, and opportunist people just looking for shelter and protection and such. But
Protection.
yeah, but there. I don't think there was any bard that was brought in. There certainly was never any music. What made you think there was one brought there?
The insignia. It was brought to our attention when we heard about our friend being potentially kidnapped, and we went to the first place that made the most sense.
What? Which insignia?
The crab shell.
You
Or no, the X-ray. Yeah.
you make the triangle with the
Yeah.
cross fingers at the top, and he nods with a frown for a bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't look. There were some of us there. The world's a hard place, you know. We just, it's hard to find shelter sometimes, good work, and things like that. And that the keep offered work, good paid work with shelter and food, and so I guess I'm just making excuses, but there were more. The actual people in charge were more mercenaries. They weren't really, you know. They had no need for like bard entertainment and stuff. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they did. I, I tended to
okay,
hear a
Eldon.
lot of the in and outs, and I didn't hear of any bards coming in through there.
It's okay. It's okay.
Who did you hear that from?
There's some people back in Red Larch.
Well, I guess there's nothing to hide anymore, but you should know if you're continuing on the path you are, that I mean, they have spies throughout the land, you know, watching and probably putting out lies and things like that. So I'm sorry if you went through all that for nothing, but
Not for nothing exactly. Perhaps unknowingly, you helped rid the world of at least a little bit of evil. The protection that our friend here was speaking of is more extortion. They would threaten ships coming through for protection, and if they didn't comply, then they see what they were being protected from.
and he looks down a moment, and you see this shade of guilt upon him.
They also took advantage of the poor and downtrodden. So not everyone there was guilty, but in the eyes of some people, a sin is a sin. That's for their own inner demons to toil with.
I'm gonna kind of walk over to the edge of the boat and grasp it with my hands and look out over the water. And you know who the main leader of that boat was, 3? The one that was ordering the halfling?
Fantastic question.
You probably wouldn't know the name of them.
Okay. The name? No.
but the young man at the back pipes up. Shalindar. Shalindar Quandrel. He's one of the leads. A big name among them. Definitely.
The right hand guy.
Well, maybe not right hand, but he's definitely not one I would mess with, or anyone. Me. Sorry.
You've given me more than enough.
Considering he shrugged off 2 arrows, going to assume he's not number 2 for no reason.
He's a nasty piece of work. He runs that keelboat up and down the Desserin. You usually will find him between either Riverguard Keep or Womford. Fortunately for us, he's at Riverguard, so we should be protected at Womford.
I'm just assuming Flick is still asleep through this, since you never said
Oh.
Flick woke up.
Fleck, you're let's say you're waking up at this time. My apologies. Yeah, you hear voices going on behind you, and the sun is warming your face and body, and you feel the same muscle strain as everyone around you, and a fuzziness. You've long rested, but the events of the day before weigh on you, as do the contents of the bag at your waist.
It's more her backpack is
Backpack.
fixed. As far as the keelboat, I've hopefully managed to damage it some and damage the capstan of the gate. That may have bought us a bit more time to move before they were able to form any pursuit.
No, you got him right good. Yeah, that I mean, as anyone knows, fire's not good on old wood, but they'll be on the river soon enough, and well,
There's plenty more fire where that came.
he looks, eyes kind of passing over the group of you. Thank you. Sometimes people just need to be shown courage to know when to do right. It's not always so easy to see the difference between right and easy. And I'll be dropping you all at Womford unless you wanted to head further south to Goldenfields.
Womford should be fine, and I agree with what you say, and I also believe that right should be rewarded. Flick reaches into her armor, which is where she was working, and passes him a folded envelope with a seal of the Apothecary Guild on it. Should you make it to Yartar, approach the Apothecary Guild. If you need work, they always need people to transport materials. This will get you a foot in the door if you need proper labor with a slightly more reputable group.
He feels the envelope between his fingers and looks up at you and just, thank you, sir. I I'm undeserving, but I thank you. He tucks the envelope into his dirty shirt, and I think I'm gonna hit up Golden Fields first and restock, and then I have a feeling the Riverway might be a little dangerous north, so I was actually going to possibly see if there's any business heading south towards Waterdeep.
Well, the guild does have the branch in Yartar is a branch of the Waterdeep Guild. It should serve you well there too. And I'm sure all the better if you stock up on materials first.
I plan to do my father proud. Thank you for everything. And
Just don't get in trouble again. Liam says as he covers his head again with his cloak.
the young man looks over to Liam for a moment and gives a
Liam
nod.
speaks up, like we'll just tug her apron back for now.
The group of you would see in the distance a small village forming as you get closer and closer, with a dock that is on the Desserin River. It's on the eastern side. There's not a lot of traffic around the area, but as Eldon guides the boat towards it, he very smoothly pulls it up next to the dock, and you feel the slight jar and sway as the boat slides into place next to the dock, and a old woman strides down the dock and grasps the rope that Eldon tosses and wraps it around the pole. She looks to the lot of you with a big old cigar in her mouth, nods, and just walks right on back down, heading for her chair at the end of the dock. This'll be Womford. It's not much, but at least it's away from the keep.
That is key. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I could never repay what you gave me, so thank you. If I'm ever able to help in the future, I'll be happy to assist.
Just be sure to stop to help those who need it, and it will make its way back to us.
You see his shoulders kind of roll back a bit as he sits a bit taller, gripping the rudder. I know she's not much, but maybe one day I'll be a captain of my own boat. Think
Well, you
so.
already are, aren't you?
Do you all have a name? I mean, every ship has a name. Maybe I should name her after you, since you all seem to be so lucky.
Well, Liam's the lucky one. That might be the one to take after.
He looks over at the form of
The lucky
Liam,
Liam.
who has his cloak pulled over and is shadowed. And the young man just kind of nods. Cloaked scimitar it is. Just for now, anyways. That's stupid. No.
No, that's an excellent name.
He looks up at Rowan and, yeah.
Just don't waste your life.
I'll do my best. Thank you. You hear a voice down the ways from the dock. You coming or going? And the old woman with a healthy amount of 5 o'clock shade on her face, whiskers and all, with wrinkles, big old cigar out the side of her mouth, squinted eye, looks down at you.
I suppose that would be the key to be going.
We're just gonna leave.
All right, so 3 climbs out of the boat. Are the rest of you climbing out?
Yeah, look, we'll gather up our equipment, step into our armor, leave the boat.
All right.
Yep. I'll get out too. Might as well. Can't stay in the boat the whole time.
I did the same thing, putting my armor back on, getting out of the boat.
All right. So the rest of you climb out of the boat carefully, and you step onto the rickety dock. And as you look over towards the tiny village that surrounds the dock area along the bank, you see several mills standing tall. Some water mills in the midst of the river as well, along the edge. And you hear grinding and not a lot of other sound, just general small sounds here and there, people speaking. As you pass the old woman sitting in her chair at the edge of the dock, she just eyes you as you walk by. Not saying anything, just observing.
But before we walked completely away from the boat, I was gonna turn back and look at Eldon and just say, where do you plan to go?
I thought I might hit up Golden Fields, at least to maybe restock. I got a cousin there, and then I was. He pats his breast where the letter that Flick gave him resides under his shirt, and he said, "Thought of maybe starting off on my own, hitting up Waterdeep. Did you need anything?"
No, not right now, but maybe we will meet again.
I hope so. I hope the next time we meet up, maybe I'll have a big boat with a captain's hat. Or, maybe not. But the cloaked scimitar will ride these rivers once more.
I have no doubt.
He stands up and moves forward and kind of pushes off from the dock with his boot, and it starts to drift back towards the middle of the river before being carried back down.
Okay.
So, I think we should find a place for food, ale, and a place to talk.
I don't know if I can eat until we've done something with Kendra.
Whatever we need to do will require strength, and that will require me. Cannot hope to help another if you are not able to stand on your own.
Fine, but let's make it quick. I think I have something that might be able to at least extend our time of figuring out what we can do.
Of course. At the very least, I'm hoping to find somewhere private. So the village looks like it has anything resembling an inn, a larger building.
You see a lot of grain mills. There seems to be a lot of, beyond the actual village, a lot of farmland, a lot of swaying wheat in the wind. The village consists of like a handful of granaries, a larger handful of cottages. There are several tiny shops here and there. There's not a lot of traffic in the road. It's definitely a dirt road. But you do now and then will see a passerby, usually in dirt stained clothes and looking to be headed towards more work. And
Where there's workers, there's usually ale somewhere. Let's see if these shops can point us in an amicable direction.
so you inquire of some passerbys, and some of them give you looks before continuing on their way. They seem uneasy with your presence, pausing momentarily to hear you out before they look at you confused and move on, scurry on, eyeing the others around them. You do see a small little building off to the side. It has an outdoor fire pit with a cover over it the entirety of the outside, but it seems like an outdoor bar almost. There are boards that looks like they have been placed upwards, as if they were building, in the process of building an actual shelter area. But for now, it looks like it is a half-done bar. And
Anyone there?
so you guys head up to that area. There are some benches with tables, crudely built. And if you're all taking a seat, no one comes to the table. The bartender remains behind the bar, cleaning cups, picking at their teeth as they just kind of look out along the way.
Liam, a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we'll pass him 2 silver coins. Work your magic as you tend to do. See if you can rummage something up for us.
What are you hoping for specifically?
Foods and ale. Anything solid.
I'm going to walk away. And as I do, I'm assuming there's a bunch of people around us, right?
Not a lot. Not a lot. It's still like early afternoon, like probably maybe like 11 o'clock.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. How many people would you say are around us?
In the outdoor, like on the benches and stuff, maybe 2 at different tables.
What's it look like indoors?
You're
There's no-
not actually indoors. There's a partial wall along one side. This looks like a tavern that is slowly being built as stuff is provided. Otherwise, this is mostly like an outdoor type bar.
Okay.
We have somewhat of a table, though, right?
Yes, you've got like a bench table.
Flick is going to take one of the tarps from the tents that she's been carrying this whole time and cover the table with it. The tents that we took from the bandits in like session 2.
So just the table? Just like
Yeah,
a tablecloth?
right.
Okay.
And then she puts her pack on the table and just looks to Rowan before pulling her scarf up over her face. At this point, it would mean that really only her eyes and above are visible. As to why, it's not clear because there's no particular strong sense coming as she begins to open her bag and ease Kendra's remains from it. Her head and shoulders becoming visible. And she simply looks to Rowan.
At the angle that I'm sitting, would I even see that Kendra's
Yeah,
head is sticking out?
she's facing Rowan with Kendra partially out of her bag, but she doesn't is very protective at this stage.
Yeah, you see Kendra as she opens the lip of the bag wide, and you see an arm with a limp ham coming out as Flick, as gently as possible, tries to maneuver the body out.
I am going to move towards the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Who's around me?
There is one patron off to the back side. There's one off to the far side. And then there is the supposed bartender behind the bar, leant arms on the bar, just picking at his teeth, watching as you approach.
Good man. Tell me, what food and drink do you have here?
Hey, we got some good ale.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
We've got ale.
Ale. Okay. I apologize. Your accent made me think you said potato, and I got very excited, for I love potato.
I mean, we can probably dig you up some potato too.
What food do you have aside from possibly potato?
Stew,
Oh, what type of stew?
potato.
Potato stew. Wonderful. Do you have any meat in that?
We have the best ale this side of the river.
Well, I appreciate your talk of ale, and believe me, I'm getting your ale. What what about meat?
Where are you from?
I'm from all around.
Well, all around. We don't have a lot of meat here. We're a farm town for the most part.
For farm time, I would suppose you have cows, pigs, chicken.
Grain farm town. Most
So
of
you
our
have
meat gets shipped in.
so you have no livestock.
Not for sale.
Hmm. But you do have meat, as you just said. You ship it in.
We got lots of hops.
I feel like we're going in circles here. What of the meat?
Yeah, you want some?
The meat? Yes.
Oh, meat. No, we don't sell meat here. We got ale, we got mead, we got beer
And you have stew.
and stew.
What other food do you have? You have bread.
Yeah, we got bread. Lots of bread. Good bread.
Do you happen to have any sort of ham with that bread?
I don't think the ham shipment came in today.
Do you have any chicken?
Yeah, we might be able to scrounge you up some chicken. Might be a while. It's a little early for us to be cooking chicken.
How much would it be for 4 chickens, 2 loaves of bread, and let's say uh, an open tab on mead. I feel like we could do with something heavy.
Open tab I can do. Meat I can do. Stew I can do. The chickens, I've got maybe one left. The rest we're still waiting to come from the shipment from Red Larch.
From Red Larch, you say?
Yeah. I got a poultry farm up there.
I'm well aware. I'm actually coming from Red Larch. I'm something of a defender of the town, and I show her my badge.
Kind of looks at it for a second. Huh? What are you doing down here?
My journeys have brought me here. I've promised a kindly old man there that would help inform people of his business, and I pull out the flyers I have for that business.
He takes one of the flyers, sets it down, looks at it for a long moment. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's been down here a time or two. Yeah, he's got a good business.
Just a side note, out of character for a second. I know we met the poultry farm people.
Yeah.
Was that Pell's grandmother or was that someone else?
Yes.
Oh, it was?
Yep.
Oh, fantastic. Um,
And I purchased some meat from them and have it in my stuff.
so, dear man, um, what would you say if I could help you with your deal of chickens? Perhaps renegotiate the contract for you so you can pay less for more. I'm actually very familiar with that family, the family that you purchased the chickens from.
I don't understand what's going on. Are you telling me you're gonna sell me chickens for cheaper?
I'm saying that I can get you chickens for cheaper from those people and give you priority on their chickens if you're willing to give us all that food and those chickens for these 2 silver. In the long run, you would be making more money for this one purchase. And I assure you, my word is as good as my bond. Because, like I said, I'm here from Red Larch just to promote this one gentleman's business who asked me to. A promise is a promise.
Roll a.
Does anybody read Terry Pratchett?
Art of
No.
First book. I'm working on it.
Liam's giving me real CMOT Dibbler vibes now.
Make a deception check.
Ooh.
So my audio disconnected for like all of that, and finally it comes back to make a deception check.
I'm gonna use a luck.
Okay.
I got 3 luck back.
Clearly, whatever happened was important.
It's
Liam's
important
trying
to
to
me.
swindle free food.
Oh well.
Not swindle. I will make this happen. I'll have Cal help me. Okay, that's not much better. That's a 10. That was a waste of luck.
Perfectly average response.
The bartender looks at you. Okay. I mean, I like, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna give me cheaper chickens, of course. I only got one chicken right
That's
now.
fine. But the bread, the mead, the stew, and the chicken.
Okay. And he gets up and shuffles away. It'll be a bit, actually.
Fine. Here's the 2 silver.
Pours the mugs of ale and just
Mead.
leaves them on the bar for you to take.
It was mead.
Mead? Okay. He'll pour mead.
I'm getting my money's worth here.
And then walks away back behind a covered area, supposedly to start. You hear a flapping of wings and suddenly a chopping sound.
Fresh.
I'm writing down renegotiate chicken contract with those grandma.
Yeah, so that's what you admit, Dedra/3.
Not the
Chicken
craziest
contract
one.
negotiations.
And as I walk away, I'm gonna leave just flyers for this guy's business on the bar, on the bar.
Okay.
A couple of them.
As you do, and as you walk back to the table with the rest of your friends, you see the other 2 patrons at opposite ends. They have been eyeing this entire exchange, and then they just stand up, and they kind of walk off and leave. And now you guys are the only ones left in this area.
I'd like to keep my eyes on them as to where they're going.
They both head into perspective. One heads down the road. You lose sight of him. The other one heads just across, down the ways across the street into what looks like a small little hovel.
I'm going to rob that hovel later.
What was that?
I'm going to rob that hovel later.
Okay.
I know there's not many people here, Liam, but maybe don't declare that.
Oh, that wasn't Liam saying it. That was me out of character saying I'm going to do that.
All right. So Liam, you rejoin Flick, Rowan, and 3 at the table, and set down the drinks in front of each of them. And you see that Flick has, next to her, has a body resting across the rest of the bench with the head laying on her lap.
What the devil?
I'm gonna look over at 3 to see what his reaction is.
Existential crisis.
No, not really. Just wow, that's a magic trick. What the fuck am I witnessing?
Yeah, you see this body with red hair across the face, eyes closed, blue lips. The body is resting there, and what are you doing, Flick?
Flick just looks over the body for a moment and gives a passive touch to Kendra's amulet before looking over to Rowan. You said you had something you thought you could do.
Yes, I've never done it myself before, but I think it's an option.
I think we lost Rowan.
Why is it always at important parts?
God damn it!
Well, we can still hear you.
Ah,
Oh, you're back.
There you are.
right when I was enacting.
All right.
So I basically was like, yes, there's something that I believe I might be able to do. I've never done it before, but if I don't take this chance, I don't know. But I'm not sure this is the best place to do it. We need to be able to put Kendra somewhere for at least like, I think it's like 10 days.
Where I can carry her will be secure and undisturbed.
Oh, I need at least 2 copper pieces. And does anyone have any salt on them?
I have salt.
I toss Rowan 2 copper pieces.
Let's quickly eat this food or drink the mead. Get Kendra to where we can have her rest.
Meat, bread, stew, and chicken. For 2 silver, because I'm a baller.
Chicken is the only thing you don't have at the table at the moment.
I don't think, if it's gentle repose, I don't think Kendra has to actually stay in the one spot. It just has to keep the copper over her eyes.
Is the copper gonna stay over her eyes in the bag of holding?
Nothing's disturbed in a bag of holding, so
It's an extra dimensional space. Interdimensional bags are weird. Once something's in there, it's only disturbed when someone takes them out.
All right. Okay.
you can put hot water and dried spaghetti in there, and they won't mix.
We're going for it then.
All right. So
Basically, I'm gonna say that Flicka said that to me because I'm like, I don't know what that bag does.
It's magic. Don't worry about it.
so what are you doing?
I'm gonna slide over or walk around and get on the side with Flick and Kendra and ritually cast Gentle Repose.
All right. And then is there... Hold on. I'm trying to bring up your sheet on that. Is that in your features?
It's a spell.
Spell.
Second level spell, but I'm virtually casting it.
Okay.
It should be like I need like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yep, 10 minutes plus casting time, so 10 minutes and 6 seconds if you want to be super technical.
Okay. So you spend 10 minutes doing this. Flick, Liam, and 3, you watch as Rowan prays over the form of this dead body in Liam's lap. Kendra's lap. Flick's lap. Bah! And
I got called Liam.
oh my gosh.
New counter.
And in that time, you're just drinking the mead and still waiting for the chicken to come out. Why don't we take a quick 10-minute break?
All right.
And then we'll come back from there. Sound good?
Cool. Sounds
Yep.
good.
All right. 10-minute break starting now. Ote.
Uh, three.
A shifter.
The werewolf, but easy mode.
They're also called were-touched.
Interesting.
Yeah. Some fun shenanigans are going to be had.
Now I'm like, did we just let Kendra die? No, that would be out of character.
I think that's on Monkey's decision what he wants to do once we manage to find a solution for Kendra.
I don't know. Whatever happens, I'm of the impression that I feel like a level 4 party does not have the resources to do this. So that's why I made 3.
We do have the resources to keep her around indefinitely ready.
That's a little morbid, don't you think?
We're gonna get her at least to a church.
We don't try, then that's out of character. I would never just let it go.
I mean, we might even get to the end of the campaign with just a preserved body in a bag of holding.
Oh boy.
There's gonna be a point where 3 has to step in, like, alright, listen, I get it. You miss her, but stop it.
Does 3 even really understand what's happening here?
Not particularly. He just sees body out of bag, touch, body in bag.
Touch with copper put over eyes.
And he'll see it once every 10 days.
He's a ranger. He can somewhat figure it out, I hope, one day. He's got a +0 to his intelligence. He's not completely stupid.
Perfectly average.
So by the way, when I took that damage in the water, I was down to 2 hit points.
I know. I was like, what's the lowest damage dice we can roll? A d4. Oh look, Rowan only has 4 hit points. This could go really badly.
What if we put Kendra in a bag of colding?
Goodbye.
Wow.
All right. So
Eat at this point.
we are back at the table. The area is empty. Rowan, as you finish praying over the body of your friend, Flick and Liam, you're watching this, hands wrapped around your mead mugs. 3, you're kind of sitting off at the same table, but a little further off, just watching, observing.
Are
Not
you not
nec-
entertained?
Not necessarily disturbed, but more just kind of.
What the fuck is happening?
And Rowan, as you are finishing this up, you hear a slap as a plate hits down onto the table with just a cooked chicken. And that's about it. As the bartender looks down at the lot of you, each and every one, eyes trailing on the dead body for the longest. He scratches his head for a moment. All right.
So the bartender and I just say, "Don't worry about it, my dude."
There's stranger things in the Desert.
He hobbles off back towards the bar.
When the ritual completes, Flick will just nod her head and wrap her cloth, or like a blindfold around Kendra's eyes, keeping the coins in place as he eases her back into the bag.
So what is your plan?
Plan for what?
For the road ahead. I'm curious.
I think first it's trying to save our friend. And then from there, I don't know, for me, I'm gonna have to find this Shalandar guy. I'm not letting any of them get away.
Revenge. Interesting.
Are you saying that we're going back to that keep?
Perhaps not immediately. We still have. Well, we have one friend that we have time for now. We have other friends out there that we really should find. The constable and the bard. If Riverguard Keep really was a dead end for them, then we may be out of leads once again. The only other place I can really think of that we have yet to investigate with all the strangeness happening is Beliard. Unless we make our way back to Red Larch, see if there's been anything else we can find.
I'm gonna kind of like touch my forehead and like, if we lose her and it was all for nothing,
As I had said before, it wasn't for nothing. While it wasn't your intention, you did end up helping a lot of people. For future trade routes, at least.
Even if the job is unfinished.
It would take them time to get their strength back. So it wouldn't be for nothing. You've helped many people.
Liam, you were the first to lose someone, so to say, in that place. What are your thoughts?
In all honesty, I will burn that place to the ground.
Burning it down does seem a fitting tribute.
After, of course, we raid it.
I'm fairly certain that is what you did.
I feel like there are more secrets in there that we could have partook of.
I agree with you. Something's not right there.
Revenge is not what I seek, though it would be cathartic. I am not against returning if that is something that we should do. I would rather see the place gone than have any more loss to it.
the fact that the evils of the world must be stopped. And no one like Eldon should be in that place again. I would never ask any of you to continue down that path again, but I feel that I must return at some point. I'm not saying it has to be soon.
I'm not a fan of leaving business unfinished, at the very least. And this time we can take a more careful approach. Perhaps I won't lead anyone down a wrong path.
I don't plan to make the same mistakes. And I look down at the bag of holding.
If it wouldn't trouble any of you, I've had my eye on that place for a while. I would like to join you. I've been scouting it for the Emerald Enclave for a while now. That's when I saw you. You were more entertaining than a old fortress. I would like to come along and help with your mission of however you want to see it, revenge, ridding the world of evil, getting closure.
What is this Emerald Enclave?
One of the many factions in the region. Our goal is to stop evil. Very simple. Stop evil, protect nature from civilization, and protect civilization from nature. Balance. Blah, 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 bureaucratic stuff.
Part of that is what the same people at that keep told us the first time we were there.
Interesting. Then I'll have to have a word with them personally. So what they're doing doesn't seem to be helping anyone but themselves.
And I insight check.
Yeah,
I'm
go
sure
for
it'll be
it.
an entertaining conversation on who's defending who.
What are you looking to see if he's lying or
Yeah, I'm seeing if if I'm getting a vibe of whether this is truthful or deceit.
okay.
24.
Yeah, you get a sense that 3 doesn't put out a lot of flair and such. Pretty straightforward.
I don't think he knows how to lie.
Yeah, he when he hears that possibly your experience with the keep was uh, defaming the goals of what he has put himself towards, um, he seems pretty disturbed by that, but uh, in a sense of, yeah, you know what, might just have to kill him later for that kind of a thing. Well, that won't do.
And
Violence is always the answer.
But yeah, you get a sense that he's very forward and open and true at the moment.
Okay. I'm so sorry, 3. My mind has been mostly elsewhere and feel like we've kind of been ignored. You sat here.
That's fine.
I get the sense he'd rather watch us than have us watch you.
It's entertaining, at the very least.
Does that mean we should charge you for admission?
Please no, I'm fairly poor.
I'm sure we can find other arrangements.
Oh, of course. If you allow me with you, I could find you food, water, safe
Oh,
places to rest.
we're thinking you watch our backs, and we'll provide a show at the front.
Oh, perfect. Quite the shot. I prefer to stay at distance, but I can handle myself if someone does get close.
And if you do find food, I'm a fair hand at preparing it.
Perfect.
At least better than whatever this is.
I haven't touched it. I don't. I do not like civilized cooking. It's much better to get it fresh out in the woods where it's had time to build flavor.
And Flick scientific cooking might be strange.
All right, so um, you guys have some discussion at the table. Um, say you spend about an hour there, so it's about full noon at this point. Um, Still no other people. You see some random passerbys that seem to kind of spot you as they walk past, do a double take, and just continue on their way. Slightly confused at first, but then they scurry off as if minding their own business. Anything else you'd like to do?
Nope.
Okay.
Seems we have a plan of action. We're going to go. Are we going to go finish the job there? Is that what we're doing?
I have no problems, but I will follow until then. If there's anything you'd like to do beforehand.
So you guys are wanting to head back to the keep?
Yes. I think that's what we're doing.
Okay.
We're all
Just gonna
rested,
go straight
right?
on back.
Everyone's
Yeah.
ready to crush some heads.
Before we go,
Yes.
we should probably buy pots.
Should what?
Buy
Potions.
potions.
I don't think there's much of a market here.
I may be able to find some natural ingredients.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear. Let's go.
Okay. So are you guys looking for ingredients or are you looking for potions?
I will
Yeah.
go. I will go and try to find ingredients.
Okay. How long do you want to spend doing so?
I will spend about 2 hours doing this.
Okay. And the rest of you, what are you doing at this time?
You said there were some small stores. Let's see what they have.
Okay.
I agree with that, but as we do it, I will also distribute, perhaps not the people, but around town. You know what? Hold on. I'll go to the store. I'm gonna do something else stupid later.
Good to know.
I think Liam is the originator of litter law.
Of what?
Litter laws.
Probably.
All right. So 3, you head off into the surrounding area. Make a nature check.
Okay. Um, 19.
Okay. So you look around and you take in the surrounding area, and you see a lot of fields that look quite cultivated for farming purposes.
This won't do.
Yeah, you realize this is not really a place to find ingredients that you vaguely know go into healing potions.
Using my wanderer feat from my background, do I remember where I could find medicinal herbs that would help with making potions?
You know it's more in a forested area.
Okay. Well, that was cut short.
So you head back to the rest of the group. The rest of the group, you guys tinker around with the little shops here and there. One that sells quite a bit of fishing equipment. One that sells quite a bit of fish and other river paraphernalia. There's another shop that actually you can purchase a ferry tickets across the river, as
We'll
well
need
as
that. We're on the wrong side of the river.
ferrying back up and down. There is just really a lot of small shops, nothing like what you are familiar with from Red Larch.
There is something I need that the fishing shop may have. Do they have any rope?
They have quite a bit of rope.
I'd like to purchase 2 50-foot lengths of rope.
Okay.
To replace the one I lost and to have a spare.
Okay. I don't suppose you have rope right in front of you.
For what?
Not yet, no.
Oops.
For 50 feet of hempen rope, that's 1 gold.
Thank you. So, the person in front of you, as he's hauling a cart of shrimp and sets it down, shrimp. It's a river, Megan. A cart of
River shrimp.
oh, Megan.
They're called crawdads.
We rode on a fucking griffin a few episodes ago. Sure, there's shrimp in the river.
Crawdads. A cart of crawdads. Thank you. Sets them down. Little claws clicking and clacking. Antennas going wild. He says, "Need some rope, do ya?"
Yes, it's quite handy, and the last one I had was destroyed. River can be quite rough.
He gestures to the rope behind him, and it's a iron bar with just a whole bunch of bundles of rope along it. And he says, "How much do you want?"
100 feet.
That'll be 2 gold pieces.
Here you are.
He takes the rope and slaps the rope down onto the very small counter. What else?
I think that will be it for me. Thank you.
Where are you headed?
Across the river, back towards Red Lodge.
Where are you from?
Yata.
All right. Well, if you need passage across the river, you're going to want to head back down 2 stalls.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. I feel like Fleck is the only one with an obvious answer to where are you from.
All right. So you guys headed back down. Or what are you doing?
Can't
back.
imagine
Yes. I'm going to
Everyone
put,
talk at once.
I'm going to put up my cloak's hood, and jump from the top of building to building, throwing these flyers out for people to see before I finally come down, lower my hood, take off the cloak, put it away, and just walk around whistling Dixie.
Why the fuck would you litter when I just said that I protect nature from civilization?
Who said I'm littering? This is all in the purpose of getting people to pick up the flyers and see what's going on. I'm not just throwing them away. It's called marketing.
So,
All marketing.
are you trying to do this stealthily?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so with the 1 o'clock sun straight up in the sky, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
That's 16.
All right. So you just barely managed to, with the flying of the papers flickering, flapping in the wind as they float down to the road below. You manage to stay just along the roof's edges as you go from place to place. Granted, it's a very small village, but there's not a lot of people out, and most of them that see this happening, they watch the papers fly down and they step back and retreat into their prospective locations or shelters.
All while 3 is glaring at you.
And
Yo,
only 2 people actually you see pick up the flyers and look it over momentarily before they look around at who's watching and then tuck it into their pocket and slip away.
Why is everyone so concerned about who's watching and looking around? Is something going on in this town that we don't know? I'm just talking out loud. I'm not looking for an answer.
But while on the roof by yourself.
Or is he by himself?
What if I was talking to Dad, Talon? That's my sanity. It's gone.
All right.
Seems like everyone in the party's got some magical nonsense talking in their head.
I'm actually not talking to you.
Well, wait a minute. If Talon is responding back to him, that might be an issue.
I don't think I have anything in my head. No, I do.
So 3, as you come back into town, you see Flick and Rowan at a small little shanty shop, drawing rope up over their shoulders and being pointed further down. And as you walk down the road towards them, you notice there are some papers flying past you.
Going to just take one.
You snatch it out of the air.
What is the meaning of this?
We're not sure.
Great.
If you were to look at it, you would see Valivo Sundries.
Despise the city. I'm gonna put it in my bag just so I don't have anywhere to get rid of it.
Thinks of something and returns back to the fisher's stall. Actually, one more thing. Do you have maybe some length of fishing line I could purchase as well?
Yeah. Of course. He leans back and pulls some forward. How much?
A spool of 50 feet or so should do it.
All right.
Wait.
That'd be 10 silver.
Here you are.
He raises his eyebrows and smiles up at you. All right, and quickly pulls the silver in and pushes the spool out towards you.
I don't think it was worth 10 silver.
Flick's not concerned at this point.
Out of curiosity, is there like I don't know, a magic shop here, perhaps for books?
In this small village.
Are you asking the DM or your fellows? Or the
Yeah.
No, Liam, there is not.
He's talking to Talon. That's what he's talking to on the roof.
I'm asking everyone.
just calling out from the rooftop?
Is there a bookstore here?
Probably not.
Art magic.
You hear a voice. You can't determine or discern where. No, you crazy fuck.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
You as well.
You are all very interesting characters.
What have I done that's interesting?
I don't know yet.
And yet you say you've been watching us.
Yes. You've done a lot of things I can't very well comprehend. So I cannot give you a positive answer. I suppose that is the interesting part.
Everything I do is based in logic and method. I do not draw my power from gods or other strange sources like many of my companions do. And who knows where the elf takes his ability.
No clue. I just warp nature.
Leah, when you're done shouting for the rooftops, come here a moment.
Yes.
May I see Talon for just a moment?
You're asking a lot of me right now.
Oh, nothing poor planned. Something that may assist you in the future.
I hesitantly hand over my dagger.
Flick nods and looks over Talon for a moment and ties the fishing line around the guard of Talon, hooks the remainder of the spool to Liam's belt before putting Talon back in its sheath at his side. This should help you maintain it close. You seem to throw it quite often.
Okay. I will accept this suggestion, but I reserve the right to change my mind about it.
Just a little extra guarantee that it will always come back.
Is this a constant problem?
Well, when he woke up on the boat, it was his first concern.
Just to clarify, have you done anything in particular with it, or just tied the fishing line around the end of it and to his belt?
Tied it around the guard and then tied the other end to his belt with the spool. Nothing magical. Just
Okay. Mm-hmm.
nothing Flick does is overtly magical. This is probably the simplest artificer thing that.
All right. So, what are you guys
She's
doing?
not trying to offend Liam. She's honestly trying to help.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing else she's doing. She's already finished giving him a line for Talon.
Right. Now what? Have you secured passage on a ferry, or are we walking?
You're welcome to walk if you wish, but we're going to buy tickets on the ferry, I think.
Oh.
All right, so you guys head down to the this is the one area that does seem like it has an office indoors. And you head inside, and there is a old man there, very thin, very frail looking. He looks at you as you come into the door. Newcomers, what can I do for you?
We're making our way back to Red Lodge. We're just needing ferry across the river.
Ferry across the river. All right. That'll be heading towards the western side. Okay. He pulls out a book and starts flipping through the pages, finger going down it. And it's okay. Yep. The next ferry does not come back for another about 2 hours. And then you'll be able to cross at that point. It's 50 silver.
Each?
Total.
Oh, of course.
Unless you're all not crossing.
I think we all are, unless one of you has more business here.
50 for 4 people?
Problem?
Just doesn't make sense in my head, but whatever.
Were you wanting to go elsewhere?
No.
He takes a step back and looks at the lot of you.
Like, just gives a roll of her shoulders and offers 50 silver.
The old man, one finger at a time, flicks the silver in. You're an odd group. Where are you from?
Yata.
You really are like the only one that like chooses to actually answer.
Like, is most recently from Yartar, which is a fairly local city to the area.
And where are you headed?
Red Lodge.
Why?
There's been some trouble out there, and we get quite a lot of supplies from Red Lodge up to Yata. Just making sure the supply routes stay secure.
Came down the river to head to Red Larch?
Well, we've taken the road previously. I never like taking the same route twice.
He looks at the rest of you. Suspect.
Did you need proof of membership for the guild, or
Which guild is that?
the Apothecary Guild?
Which branch?
Yata, but originally I'm from Waterdeep.
Why are you asking so many questions?
It's my job. I hope keep
I
track
am
of the
insight
river.
checking this dude.
Go
Like,
for it.
pulls her collar up onto one side, showing where she has the journeyman badge pinned under her collar, and pats it back down.
What'd you get, Rowan?
Yep. I'm very distracted. That's a natural one.
Yep, he's a human.
Wow!
Jeez, I am rolling horrible tonight. Okay.
He looks at the badge, squints at it a bit. Looks about right. It's my job to keep passage between the river sides. Not just the east and the west side, but going north and south, so questions are part of my job.
Of course, and I don't blame you for doing what you have to do. I've run into some trouble on the road in the past, though it just helps having some armed companions, curious though they may be.
All right. Well, and he pushes 4 small pieces of paper across to you. And they're just on it. Each one is hastily written Western Dock.
Thank you kindly. We'll be on our way. You said 2 hours about?
2 hours. You can wait at the dock, or you can have a drink at the bar. There's not much going on here in Womford, unfortunately.
One step ahead on the drinks.
Or you can go have a sit with me wife. She'll tell you some tales.
She the one who watches the dock?
That she is.
Just curious myself, but thank you. We'll be on our way.
He nods.
Perfectly normal business conversation between 2 rational people used to society.
All right, so a lot of you head out and head towards where? You've got 2 hours to burn.
I think I'll rest by the dock. A bit of air certainly helps.
Liam, Rowan?
That's 2 hours of work I can put towards a project.
Can I tell from where I'm at? Like, does it look like there's benches or anything that's overlooking the river, kind of up and down, by the docks?
Yeah, there's where you see the old woman seated. You do see a bench on the opposite end of the dock, just on the other side, and it's empty. That's about the only one.
Does that seem kind of like off the beaten path a little bit?
It's just on the southern side of the dock. So I mean, if you're trying to be hidden, she would easily see you.
No, just be distant from people.
Okay, I would
Just-
say it's about maybe 20 feet from her.
Okay. Instead I'm gonna say that I'll meet you guys back here, but if you don't mind, I'd like to take a moment to myself, as Liam likes to do often.
Of course.
And then I'm gonna turn and I'm basically gonna start walking along the river bank and walking away.
Like, we'll make use of that bench that Rowan was looking at and turned away from, and break out the tools.
On that note, based on what Rowan just said, I'm going to take some time to myself and go to that hovel.
The one you're gonna rob?
Yes, the one I mentioned earlier I was going to rob.
And I'm going to be near Flick and just perform some maintenance on my bow. De-string it, make sure everything's proper, nothing's splintered.
All right.
Flick looks up as he takes a spot to work, but doesn't say anything more. Just kind of nods.
All right. So, Liam,
Yeah.
it's about 1:30 in the afternoon, and you are headed to the hovel. Are you going in through the front? Like
That
what's your
depends.
plan?
Oh, I have no plan. I'm doing this as I go, as always. But do I hear or see people in there?
Make a perception check.
I'll say that. 22.
Okay. You hear scurrying within the building, back and forth. Now and then you'll hear some voices.
Okay. So I will go around the back and see if there's a door or a window.
You notice on your way towards the back there is an open window. The back door is closed. It's not locked.
Is there anyone in that window? Or by the window?
Immediately, no.
Okay.
As you sit and watch, you hear footsteps just kind of going back and forth between the rooms.
Okay. I'm going to dive in through the window.
Okay.
Robin Liam steals from the poor and distributes pamphlets.
All right. So you jump in through. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
That's a 20. Dirty 20.
All right. So you are able to, with your palms on the windowsill, you lift yourself and roll in. And the room you're in, there are some wooden cupboards that also second as it looks like cutting boards and just like a kitchen area. Very small, almost closet sized. But you don't hear any movement or anything from the rest of the house at the moment.
So is this a kitchen? Like, do I have evidence that this is a frequently traveled room?
You do see like stores of food, fish hanging over a small little fire off to the far wall.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open the cupboards. And I'm going to put one flyer right there so that when you open it, the flyer's right there. Then I'm going to close the cupboard. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the fish that are hanging and put a flyer right on the fish. Um, and then, just for good measure, I'm going to put another flyer right where they put their like dry goods that they, go to once in a while.
All right, so you are able to do so. And you notice the fish over the fire that seem to be smoking. The paper quickly takes on a dirty face to it. The smoke feeding into the paper and soaking in, but otherwise, you're able to put the flyers appropriately.
Interesting. Okay, and now I'm going to stealthily go deeper into the house and hide behind a corner of whatever room the people are in.
Okay. So first, let's do a perception check to see if you can see where these people are.
That's 18.
Okay. So you get a sense that there is one to the back and left area, and one down the hallway to the right, in possibly a front room, more towards the front door. And then there is a door immediately in front of you. There's only a single hallway down. You can either head to the right down it, to the left towards the room you heard the other person in, or straight ahead into the room, that's like in a walled area.
I'm going to go to the left.
Okay.
Because all my things are in a box to the left. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to the left, and I'm going to let's see. There's someone there, right? In a room by there?
You hear someone back there.
Okay. I'm going to, in the shadows of the hall, throw my voice and say, shop at, what was the name of the shop again? Something Sundries?
Valavos.
Shop at Valavo Sundries.
Okay. You hear any movement that was going on in the house come to a sudden halt.
The fact that I got you to face palm is everything for me right now. Shop at Valvo Sundries.
And this is how he got arrested.
You hear what sounds like wood scraping against wood suddenly.
There's no police here. It'll just be a lynch mob.
And then whispers, and then footsteps running.
Running towards me or away from me?
Towards you.
I'm going to run back to that window now.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm not just going to run towards it and stop. I'm going to run towards it and jump out of it.
Okay. Awesome.
Just
Yeah.
dive and roll.
Make an acrobatics check.
I don't think I've been able to use the fact that I have a +5 for it. That's a 7.
Okay. So you make a run as you hear the footsteps coming for you. You turn and make a run towards the window. And as you go to dive through it, the shades from it suddenly fall, and you wind up getting caught in it as you continue to roll through it. And as you roll on the ground, these wooden flaps just entangle with you, and you have to take a moment to untangle yourself from them as they loudly clack, and you find yourself trotting down the road trying to get them off of you. Where are you headed?
I'm gonna go back to everyone else.
Okay.
I accomplished what I wanted to do.
As you are heading down the small little alleyway, you hear a voice. The footsteps come to a halt in the room you were just in, and you hear a confused, "What the fuck is this?" As you turn the corner and head towards your friends.
I'm just gonna whistle the whole time.
You whistle as you walk down the road.
This time it's the whistling from Kill Bill.
All right, so Flick, you and 3, what are you doing?
I was just performing bow maintenance.
Okay. Are you with Flick or?
Yes.
Okay. So the two of you are on the bench, and you hear whistling as Liam comes down the way towards you with a string still caught up in his boot and a wooden slat still connected to it.
Is this a common thing?
I'm starting to believe so. So, what were you doing, Liam?
Don't worry about it. Just keeping a promise.
Promised to steal someone's shutters?
Why do you always think the worst of me? I mean, I don't always steal.
You say as you realize there is the wooden slat still connected to you, and you kick it off to the side.
To be honest,
Ignore
it's not
that.
even the stealing that gets me concerned.
Ignore what I just did. My statement stands. You should be more trusting of me.
I'm from Waterdeep, Liam. Stealing is not something that particularly bothers me. It's the jumping across rooftops and shouting.
Oh, it seems pretty normal.
Live a little. That's all I'm gonna say. Live a little.
Don't live too much or you might die.
All right. So Rowan, during this time, what are you doing?
I've been walking down the river, waiting till I get some distance away from everyone, and gonna find like a nice tree or something to sit under, and I'm just gonna start talking to Heronius. Basically saying, Heronius, if you can hear me, we plan to go back and finish a job at the keep, but I feel like I've already failed in some way. And I hope you know that I I plan to rectify that. And I hope I still have your guidance. I'll just continue to kind of speak about the situation and that I plan to stand firmly on my goal of ridding the world of evil, but doing a better job of not at the cost of losing good people.
As
And
you're sitting there contemplating this and praying and calling upon Heronius and confessing, um, you feel quite alone for a long moment, as there's no response. And just as you start to feel slightly disturbed by that, you see a slight breeze brush against the dust of the ground in front of you, and you swear for a moment you saw the shape of a familiar amulet. That you would see hanging around your fallen friend's neck. And it is gone just as quickly in that moment. You still don't feel anything. And it happens so quickly. There's a moment you question it ever happened at all.
And after seeing that and being curious about it, I'm just gonna look across the water, take a deep breath, and it'll be different this time, I say to myself, and get up and start heading back towards the docks.
All right. So you head back towards the docks, and you see Flick tinkering. 3 is tampering with their bow, and Liam, what are you doing as you're sitting there?
I'm just watching the clouds.
Okay.
Thinking
Liam's just on the ground, legs crossed, looking up at the clouds. Piece of grain sticking out of his mouth. And you walk up to the group. And as
Did I
you
do like a vibe check on Liam to see if like it seems that he's like in denial about almost dying, or he's actually okay, or something?
yeah, roll for insight.
Okay.
Oh, we made a stat. Was the vibe stat?
I know, right?
I did put it on Flick's sheet.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh well, that's a whole 7.
I
Yep,
thought you got rid of
Liam.
that die.
I really am. Okay, here we go. I was thinking I'd get all the bad rules out and it would start working well, but it ain't happening.
All right. Yeah, you're not sure what to make of it. Liam seems completely okay with everything, and just seems to be going on with normal.
Let me just roll my 15 different d20s, see which one does better.
And as you rejoin the rest of the group, you hear a salty voice pipe up. There's your ferry. About 5 minutes out. And you look over and you see the old woman squinting, hands over her eyes. And she points across the opposite side of the bank. And you can see a form coming across the river. And as it comes close to the dock, it swings to the side and expertly comes to the side of the dock, and she looks over at you. That's your ride.
Thank you. Flick will approach the ferry and hold out all 4 papers they've been given.
The ferry worker, there's 2 of them. One comes up to the edge and takes all 4 papers, looks them over real quick. They're not complicated papers. Stuffs them into his shirt and waves you onto the boat and points to some benches along the front of it.
Flick moves right on up to the boat, takes a bench.
I follow and do the same.
Flick has been up and down this river a couple times by now.
All right. So, unless any objections, you guys take the ferry across the way with little issue to the other side of the river within 20 minutes. And as you guys dock to the other side, the workers, the one that took your tickets, looks at you and says, "Welcome to the western edge of the river. There's not much along here. Are you from this area?"
I'm from Utah myself, but I've traveled this way before.
All right. Well, you'll be familiar with Barge Right In then. And he points just to the north up a hill, which looks like a rickety walled small city. And then if you take the Cairn Road up, you'll meet the next big city, which is Red Larch. Further north, that's where you'll hit Yartar if you continue on the long road.
Red Lodge is our destination. Thank you.
Good luck. You can try and get some caravan passage from Barge Right, but I wouldn't count on it.
We might take a look if we find ourselves in need, but stay safe on the river yourself. We've come across some unseemly types out.
Oh. What type of unseemly?
The violent kind.
North or south of the river?
North.
Creature or man?
A bit of both, honestly.
He scratches the back of his head for a moment and thought, alright, well. Bye.
Well,
He goes back into the boat and confers with the other individual. And they take seats within the boat, and that's the last you see of him.
so we make our way to our destination.
I have no objections.
All right, so you
Let us
guys
go forth.
headed to Red Larch, just taking the road north.
And we're headed to Riverguard Keep, I think.
Oh, you're headed back to Riverguard?
Yeah, we're not giving them time to restock.
Flick just wasn't telling random people where they were headed.
All right.
The spies and all.
Exactly.
Okay.
I have a feeling I might lose power because that's a really bad storm outside.
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask, before we start anything with like Riverguard Keep, I gotta get up pretty early tomorrow. Do you guys mind if we just call it here and then hit Riverguard Keep hard when we meet up again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys planning to just follow the river up?
Seems to be the most direct way.
Okay.
Um,
So that's about 40 miles. And if you're planning to take a fast pace at that, that's going to be a day and a fourth.
We went quite a ways down the river.
Yes.
It's a good thing I have food supplies.
or if you guys are wanting to do normal pace or slow pace, if you're wanting to stealth, it's totally up to you. We can determine that at the next session. But yeah, with you guys reaching the western side of the shore, now well rested, emotional state's still not quite certain on that. However, you guys have plans to head north and to head back to Riverguard Keep and exact some much needed justice. We will end there. Until next time.